Yep, today's the 7th of August. We're just out here on a nice sunny afternoon. One of few of late, but yeah, we'll take it while we can. What I'm just going to show you here now is here's some of the standard testing stuff we do. The soil on this side is inside the trial plot, the one on the outside is outside, and I've just been around doing soil temperatures now. So the ones on the inside of the trial plot were averaging 14 degrees Celsius. The actual air temperature is about 14 and a half. When you get outside the trial plot, drop down to about 13.2, which is quite a significant drop, and even more so when we dropped onto some harder ground where we've actually contoured many years ago. We were building soil, so we can see quite a significant drop. On the harder ground we got down to 12.5 degrees, so we're a degree and a half colder. Now, part of this is chemistry and the biology that is causing this. So over the winter time, if you've got really healthy biology, the nitrate and the ammonia levels will lift. Now, what you want to get a balance in the soil. You want to get to about 10 parts per million nitrate and 10 parts per million of ammonia. Now, ammonia does plenty of good jobs in the winter, but one of the great things about it, it's a refrigerant, and it has an inverse or reactive role that if it heats, it cools, and if it cools, it heats. Now, so in the winter time, as the days get cooler, the ammonia actually has the effect of warming the soil up, so you can keep some more production going through the cooler months. And the other cool part about ammonia too is that it's a precursor to amines or amino acids. So in the cooler months, it allows true proteins to be produced instead of nitrates. And that's always an issue. When we're feeding nitrate feed in the winter, it takes oxygen out of the cows and it really starts to drain them. So if we can create true proteins through that winter period by higher ammonia levels, keep the temperature up, we can keep that production going. Now, the other interesting thing, I'll just come up and lift this camera up and I'll pan around a little bit. So I'll just cross across here. Now that's the runway, or where we contoured the land, and that was where it's 12.5 degrees. And then we drop down and there's the other side of the trial plot, which was around 13 degrees average, and then I dropped back to where our trial plot is here, and we were at 14 degrees. So there's a significant difference, but there's also a significant difference in growth too. The runway is actually pretty hard. What's cool about it is it's covered in worm casts, so we are actually getting a lot of biological activity in soil growth, but we haven't seen the grass production come away there yet. And obviously the temperature and the ammonia available has actually shown itself, and then outside the trial plot we're starting to get a bit of growth, but then as we come inside the plot, we've got to be looking at 30% more feed straight away. So the cost of that has been rather ridiculous really. The last couple of years we spent less than $100 a hectare, and we're increasing that soil depth and lifting the biological function. And so what you've got to look at, even in an 150 mil profile of soil, that if you increase the humus percentage, organic matter, by 1%, that equates to around about a ton of nitrogen. Now, you can't afford to buy that stuff at that price, but the great thing about it is that it's held in a form that doesn't leach. And we'll do some more videos on our water quality in a week or two once some tests are back. But what's showing is that you can have your cake and eat it, in the sense that you can have the carbon on the farm, you can have high nitrogen available, nitrogen levels that do not leach, we're part of the soil colloid, and then have a function in the pasture growth or the crops that you're growing. So you can have your cake and eat it, and it's really just about getting things sorted out. The biology and getting that function in soil mineralogy is absolutely paramount to get that to work. And when you do, it pays massive dividends. Better than any stock exchange.